Hello and welcome to the Ninqueso Exploring Japan channel, where I am on a journey to find out everything I can about Japan, the people, the culture, the language, and today a little bit more about those Pokemon that are based on the Yokai. Now, if you haven't seen the first video I did on this, it was a little bit unsure of itself on, well, this one might be based on this, and I wasn't really convinced by their arguments that those particular Pokemon were based on Yokai, but this video claims that it will be all Pokemon that are based on the Yokai and Japanese folklore. So that, to me, strikes a bit more confidence. Now, it is a long video, so it will be over in two parts. Just in case you're sitting there looking at that going, 28 minutes 46 with you rambling? That's going to go on for over an hour, which I admit it probably would. So we're going to do this in two parts. So let's have a look at the Pokemon that are based on the Yokai.
Vulpix and Ninetales.
Yes.
So there are a bunch of...
I knew these two would be on there because I did another video about just the Yokai themselves, and there was obviously a Yokai that was basically these two.
Pokemon based on kitsune, which are foxes.
Kitsune.
The word kitsune literally means fox. It doesn't mean specifically nine-tailed fox, like some people on the internet have said. It just means fox. But in Japanese...
I don't think you get many actual nine-tailed foxes. That is one hell of a genetic variation if there are any.
folklore, the fox is no ordinary animal. They have powers, and there's nothing they like better than to use those powers to trick humans. They can shapeshift into human form and seduce you. They can perform illusions. Their shenanigans range from tricking you into shaving your head, a harmless
Too late there, Mr. Fox.
thing, to sucking the life out of you, a wonderful thing. I mean, terrible. How can you tell how powerful a kitsune is? By counting
how many
its
tails it has.
More tails means more power. A kitsune grows a tail every 100 years or so. It can have up to 9 tails. A 9-tailed fox has lived over 1,000 years.
Nice.
You can argue that all fox Pokemon are based on kitsune, so I won't list them all, but I'll talk about some. Vulpix.
Yeah, but the other ones that don't have 9 tails, and that's kind of like Ninetales being maximumed out at 9 tails, kind of suggests it is.
And Ninetales are both fox Pokemon. Vulpix has 6 tails. Remember, kitsune grow more tails as time goes on. So when Vulpix evolves into Ninetales, it has 9 tails and lives up to 1,000 years. Zorua and Zoroark are also fox Pokemon.
They kind of look like they should be Yokai, to be fair.
And they can cast illusions like the kitsune. When Zorua transforms into a human, you can still see its tail. This is related to the kitsune because they have trouble hiding their tails while in human form.
Oh dear.
So if you suspect someone of being a kitsune, just stare at their ass until the tail pops out. Fennekin is also a fox Pokemon. It
I thought you weren't going to list them all.
evolves into Braixen, then Delphox. Now, kitsune can possess people. They can enter someone's body to control them. This is what Braixen and Delphox are based on. They look kinda half human and half fox. They also look like witches or sorcerers. That's intentional because they're also based on kitsune witches.
I'm not overly familiar with Fennekin, really. I know Fennekin, but I don't really know its evolutionary forms. It was like X and Y were where I kind of fell out of the series for like a little bit. That, Sun and Moon, and then I got back into it with Sword and Shield and Violet and Scarlet.
Which were supposedly people who could control kitsune and order them to possess people. Next, we have the favorite Pokemon of a 33-year-old babyface catfisher. Pikachu is an electric mouse-type Pokemon.
What is he based on?
It's based on a yokai called Raiju. Raiju has a body of lightning, or
That looks very different from Pikachu, though. Just saying.
has lightning crackling around its body. It's usually drawn like a wolf or a dog, but it can look like non-cool animals too. You know how some people like to sleep surrounded on all sides by pillows? You know who you are. Raiju like to do the same thing, but instead of...
If you do that, let me know down in the comments, because I've never heard of that before, or encountered anyone who likes to be surrounded by pillows.
pillows, it likes to be surrounded by your flesh. It likes to sleep in people's belly buttons. This is the one...
He would have a good job in mine. Mine's very deep, my belly button. He would be very cozy.
case where an outie is better than an innie. The problem is, when the thunder god, Raijin, wants to wake up his pet Raiju, he would shoot lightning arrows at it. This can
Nice.
result in a rotten day for the person to whom the navel belongs. So some people prefer to sleep on their stomach when there's a storm to prevent a Raiju from crawling up in there.
You're welcome, Raiju, to crawl into my belly button anytime you want.
So basically, any electric, four-legged animal type Pokemon you can say was based on the Raiju. I won't say the...
You're being a bit ambiguous, really, just like the other video. It's like, well, any electric four-legged animal could be based on this. I want specifics.
Small, but you have ones like Raichu, of course, Pichu, Manectric, and a bunch of others. Meowth, the cat Pokemon with a coin on its head.
Yes.
He's based on the Maneki Neko, or the beckoning cat. It's
The
that cat
Maneki
thing
Neko.
you see in Asian stores with its paw going up and down like, come here, spend money.
Brings good luck. That's why it's there.
It's supposed to bring good luck and fortune. That's why you see it in Asian businesses everywhere, and pachinko parlors. One legend
Can't say I've ever seen a pachinko parlor.
on the origin of the beckoning cat is that one day during a storm, a lord was hiding from the rain under a tree near a temple. He saw the temple's cat wave at him like it was telling him to come over, so he did.
What a friendly
Right
kitty.
before lightning slammed into that tree he had been hiding underneath.
Well, you know, hiding under a tree in a thunderstorm with lightning is not a good idea. You should know these things.
The Lord said the cat saved his life, and he became a patron of that temple, and it became really big. This channel runs on patrons, so we know they're super important. When the cat died, they made a statue of the cat,
Oh,
waving.
bless it.
Meowth is also based on the Bakaneko, or monster cat. Not Bakaneko, that's different. Baka means stupid, and Neko means cat. Put them together and they just mean people who don't wear masks in a pandemic. The Bakaneko is a cat yokai that prefers to walk on its hind legs
Aw.
and use its powers to cause trouble, even kill its owners.
Is it a bit of a naughty nugget? Bless it. It's just misunderstood and needs a diggle.
It can summon fire and control dead corpses. The
How is Meowth based on that then? Because Meowth can't summon fire. Meowth is just a normal Pokemon, not a fire Pokemon.
longer a Bakeneko's tail, the more powerful it is. Some Bakeneko can shapeshift into humans and even learn human speech. Basically, you can say any cat Pokemon that stands on two legs and or has a long...
Really though? Can you really say that, or is it just like you're saying that?
tail is based on the Bakeneko, like Purloin, Esper, and Meowstic. Maybe Mew and Mewtwo, they're not cats, but their tails are pretty long and they act a bit...
Now that is like really stretching it. It's like, why can't I find a video where it's just like, this is definitely based on this?
cat-like.
Not
Esper
just-
and Meowstic are also based on the Nekomata, which is a different cat yokai with two tails. They're super powerful, smart, and evil. When a normal cat or
Cats aren't
Bakeneko
evil.
turns into a Nekomata, its tail splits into two. That's why Esper has one tail, and when it evolves into Meowstic, it has two tails.
So is Meowstic evil then? I don't really know that Pokemon too well. I'd best keep an eye on Kelly's tail, hadn't I really?
Growlithe, Arcanine, and Entei.
Is he going to say any dog Pokemon after this?
They're based on the Komainu. Komainu are also called lion dogs. They're those statues you see in front of shrines
Yes,
guarding the
I have
entrance.
seen
They
them,
look
the
like
male
they
and
can rip your
female
heart
one.
out, but they also look noble.
And they're also good. They're good yokai because they protect the shrines, don't they?
Lycanroc. Lycanroc is a wolf Pokemon that has three forms. The midday form, the midnight form,
A wolf, not a wolf.
and dusk form. Midday Lycanroc is calmer and more careful. Midnight Lycanroc is aggressive and loves to fight. And dusk Lycanroc is a hybrid of the two. Lycanroc has similarities with the Okuri Inu. This yokai is a dog or a wolf that follows people who are walking at night.
Wolf.
The good news is that it protects you from animals or other yokai. The bad
Aw.
news is if you happen to stumble or fall, that triggers it and it'll pounce and kill you. That's
Nice.
similar to Lycanroc, who has a calm and loyal midday form, but also an aggressive midnight form. Now you may say,
Just
yeah,
don't
but
fall over.
Lycanroc's obviously based on a werewolf. To which I say, yes, but no one likes a know-it-all, okay? Electabuzz. It's an electric Pokemon with tiger stripes and two tips on its head that are kind of like horns.
Are they tiger stripes? They're more like electric bolts to me.
It's loosely based on Oni, which is usually translated
Loosely based. Really? Is Oni electric then with tiger stripes all over it?
as ogres or demons. Oni are everywhere in Japanese folklore. They're often drawn wearing loincloths made from animal...
See, to me, I don't see the similarity there whatsoever. That's got horns on its head, but it's just like nothing like it. Oh, I guess the teeth, maybe.
hides, often tiger hides. They're usually horny, as in they have horns. That's their most recognizable feature. Pokemon related to Oni also have horns, like Grimmsnarl and Glalie. Alright, let's talk dragons.
Glalie's just a disembodied floating head. Oni had bodies.
Japanese dragons are mostly water animals, but they are shown flying in the air as well. Pokemon based on the Japanese dragon are Rayquaza, Dratini, Dragonair, and Gyarados. Now, Dratini, Dragonair, and Gyarados are more specifically based on Wani, which are dragons that live in the sea. Sea
Well,
dragons.
they are water
They can
Pokemon.
turn into humans and talk and act exactly like humans, but sometimes their disguise may drop, like during childbirth. In Japanese
That's when you realise, oh my god, I should have told me this before we got married.
mythology, the grandfather of Japan's first emperor married a wife who, upon giving birth, revealed that she was a fearsome dragon. So a normal marriage. I already did a video about it, so I won't talk about it here. Dunsparce is based on the Tsuchinoko, which is basically a really short, funny-looking snake.
See, that I can see. That I can see the kind of similarity.
These yokai act pretty much like snakes, except they hibernate in the winter. They like drinking
Don't snakes hibernate as well? I'm sure there are species of snakes that hibernate when it's too cold.
alcohol, and they snore when sleeping. That's why people also refer to them as your husband 20 years from now.
Is it just me, or is these jokes really not finding the mark? They're just like really not. They're not even like so bad they make you groan. They're just whatever.
Zygarde, in its 50% form, may be partially based on the Tsuchinoko because
Don't you start giving me this maybe business.
it does look like a short snake. Moltres. Moltres looks like a bird called Suzaku that originally came from China. It's also called the vermilion bird. It looks like a pheasant wrapped in flames and represents the fire element in Taoism.
There
now
you
you
go.
may say Moltres looks more like a phoenix though, and people are more familiar with
But phoenixes aren't real. Nor is that other bird though, really, is it?
the phoenix anyways. It's a stretch to say it's based on anything else. To which I say, true, but you just lost all your friends right now, so who really came out the winner here? Ho! This is pretty easy. It's based on the Ho, which is one of the most
I
sacred
can see
creatures
that.
in Japanese folklore. It also came from China and is supposed to be beautiful, having all 5 colors of the Chinese elements: black, white, red, yellow, and green. These creatures were birthed from the sun. They're symbols of everything good, like peace, purity, fortune, and happiness. When humanity is suffering difficult times, the Ho flies away to heaven. It returns during
Just
good
leaves
times,
them.
so
It just goes, you guys, you on your own. I'm off.
if you see one, it's a sign of prosperity. Ho-Oh, the Pokemon,
I think my jokes are missing the mark as well.
has some of these features, like whoever sees a Ho will have eternal happiness. And it's currently flying around searching for a trainer with a pure heart. Bastard flew right past me. There is a class of yokai called Tsukumogami,
Is this going to be based on Rotom? That's what I'm going to guess.
which are objects, like common household objects, that have become self-aware. There was a common belief that objects that survive for 100 years would become yokai. So you better check around your house for old things like
I've got a book from 1914. Best check on that.
old sofas or shirts or husbands, because who knows, they may be self-aware.
You've made that joke already, mate, about the husbands.
There are a lot of Pokemon that are just self-aware objects. Too many to count, but here are some. Voltorb, Banette, Rotom, Honedge, Klefki, Litwick, Chimecho. Also Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir.
Poltergeist.
Now these guys are based on a specific type of Tsukumogami called Chochin Obake, or Paper Lantern Ghost. When a paper lantern
Is that what they're meant to be based on? Paper lanterns? Because I can't really see that. I just thought they were ghosts. You know, I look at a Dusclops and Duskull, and I don't think that's a paper lantern, that is. I mean, okay, the Duskull has a glowy eye in it, but it's still just a ghost with a glowy eye.
When it's old enough, it wakes up, a mouth opens, and a tongue rolls out. An eyeball blinks into existence, or two, it's not picky. The Chochin Obake became most famous for being in a play about the tragic story of Oiwa, where her ghost emerges from a paper lantern. A play which I made a video about. Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusk Noir are all ghost-like, have a round shape, and they have a single eye, like the flame inside of a paper lantern. Drowsy, Hypno, Muna, Musharna. These Pokemon are based on the Baku, the Nightmare Eaters. These guys are weird looking. They say...
I mean, I guess their ability is... But the actual physical appearance of them, I would say, no.
No.
The Baku were created by the gods from leftover pieces after they made all of the other animals. It has an elephant's trunk, a rhinoceros's eyes, an ox's tail.
I guess Hypno has a trunky thing. Does not Drowsy.
And a tiger's paws. What do I mean by them eating nightmares? A child who wakes up from a nightmare could call out 3 times, "Baku-san, come eat my dream." And a Baku would come devour his nightmares so he could go back to sleep and have good dreams.
Nice.
Until he remembers that a freakish monster just came into his room. You gotta be...
But a helpful one that's being nice. You know? Not all freakish monsters are evil, malevolent things. Some of them are just there to help out.
Be careful how often you do this though, because if the Baku isn't full from your nightmare, it may just eat your hopes and dreams for the future as well, giving you a life of emptiness. This would be really unfair to your parents because that's their job. Children used to have a little charm of Baku next.
Again, these jokes are just not good. They're not good.
To them when sleeping to protect themselves from nightmares. Drowsy, Hypno, Muna, and Musharna can all eat your dreams, and Drowsy even has a trunk like a Baku. Lotad, Lombre, Ludicolo, Golduck. They're all based on the
Oh, let's see this Psyduck. Your evolutionary forms in here.
popular Kappa, or pervert Squirtle.
Kappa.
This yokai hangs around water. You better watch your ass when you're around a Kappa, literally. People used to think that there was this organ, this ball, that people have right inside their butts. It's called a shirikodama, which means small anus ball. Stories differ on what this ball is. Some say it's your soul in a ball of flesh. Whatever it is, the Kappa really wants it.
Did they just have piles, these people?
And it'll reach up in there to take it out. Sometimes the Kappa will even suck it out.
Really? Which ones of these Pokemon that you mentioned do this? You know, none of them. You're just sort of picking some water Pokemon that's a bipedal and connecting it to the Kappa. And we went over the Kappa in my last Yokai video, and this was never mentioned at all. I'm dubious about this guy's research. Let me know down in the comments if he's correct.
With its mouth. Luckily, you can defend against this nasty attack by farting when it tries to come close, so I encourage you to practice this as often as possible. I'm
I thought you had to give him cucumbers.
getting pretty good at it. You can recognize a Kappa by its beak and this plate on its head. Its head is dented inwards like a plate.
So it got water
it's
in
the
it.
source of the Kappa's strength, and
If the water runs out, it's got no energy, and if it's run out for too long, it'll die.
weakness. You see, the plate must always be filled with water. That's where its power comes from. But if all the water spills out, the Kappa would be paralyzed and may even die. Lotad, Lombre, and Ludicolo all live around water,
See, I don't see it at all with these guys. You know, I would say Lotad is more based on a lily pad. Golduck is more of a duck. None of them remind me of a Kappa in any way. I'm very dubious.
beaks and a plate on their heads. Now Golduck is probably mainly based on a platypus, but you can see Kappa characteristics as well, like the beak, the webbed hands and feet, and the fact that it walks on 2 legs.
See, I told you that was his criteria for them being like a Kappa. They're bipedal. That is the criteria.
Lickitung and Lickilicky. These Pokemon are based on the Akaname, or filth lickers. Akaname are dirty, and they like...
I think I've heard of a Kaname. They like lick filth, but their saliva is actually poisonous, so they'll like lick the dirty bath. And although the bath will be nice and clean, if you get in it and have a bath, the saliva will actually poison you and kill you, which is why you have to like keep things clean.
Like to lick dirty things. Anything dirty or smelly or stained, they'll lick it right up. Kids are told that if they don't clean their bathrooms, an Akaname may make its home in there. They're often drawn with one toe and one claw on each foot. Lickitung and Lickilicky both like to lick things up. The Pokédex for Lickitung.
Okay, they've got one toe on one. See, I'm behind you on this one. I believe that they are based on these.
Tongue says it licks filth clean with its tongue. And they both only have one claw on each foot, and also on each hand.
See, that is like definitely based on that. Some of the others so far have been a little bit tenuous, and like I think you're reading more into it and you're just trying to make things to pad the video out. But speaking of padding the video out, this video is quite a long one, like I said, so I think we are going to leave it there on a good one, because I'm happy with the Lickitung, and I can't remember what its evolutionary form is called. So we're going to leave it there. But if you did enjoy that video, that was a video by Lin Fammy. If you did like his video, go over, give it a like. I will leave a link down in the description. But if you did like my video, then make sure you go down and give my video a like. And while you're down there, let me know which ones of these Pokemon you thought he was like spot on, that they are definitely based on the Yokai that he mentioned. And let me know which ones you were a bit like, I'm not so sure about that. And also, let me know if you thought his jokes were spot on or whether they totally missed the mark. Because for me, they were really bad. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for making it through to the end. I will be doing a part 2 on this to see what other Pokemon we have that may or may not be based on Yokai. And so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. But until next time, just be nice to people. Bye.